Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to you. Depends on the location and the time that you're watching these videos. My name is Behshad Sabah. This is the video number 5 of my job hunt workshop presentation to you. If you have watched the first 4 videos, you know that we talked about the background, the 10 hobbies, Canada economy, GDP, Toronto Public Library, Scots Business Directory, NAICS. Then we talk about the LinkedIn, how you unlock the names. And we talk about the cold calls, barriers, books, gatekeepers, and the time of cold call. We talk about fear of rejection, how we can overcome that fear. We talk about libraries that you can get and borrow different books to read and educate yourself. We talk about the actual content of cold call. We practice worst case scenario and best case scenario. We talked about how you should present yourself. We talk about a little bit on the resume items, you know, the format and the content. And now we want to talk about the network. If you watch the first video, I mentioned in my first video that there are 2 ways that you can tap into the hidden job market. The most effective one was the cold call. If you do the cold call, my experience with the different mentees that I had tells me that probably in 2 months, you get interview in the companies that you have in your list. What list am I talking about? This list. If you remember, through the Scots Business Directory, we got the list, we ranked it 1, 2, and 3. We start calling them based on the names that we got from the LinkedIn. So the other way to tap into the hidden job market in Canada is going through the networking or network. Everybody tells you that you need a network. People should know you in the industry, so you can get a lot of opportunities based on your network. The main and the first question is with whom we should do the network. My answer is with respect to all 120 nations in Canada, try to make a network with Canadians. You know, those are the helpful people that brought up with the culture of networking, and they help others if they believe that you have the skills and the knowledge to do the job, so they will help you. The next question is where we should do the networking. If you remember when we had the cold call, and in that example I asked him in my 3rd question if he knows any places that professionals like him network with each other. So the first clue comes from the cold calls that we make. The second clue or second guidance comes from the LinkedIn. How come? Let's go to the LinkedIn and see how it works. This is my page of LinkedIn. Let's say that I want to network with project managers. So I put project manager here, and I'll go to the people, then do the filtration, Ontario, Canada, and I will pick a sector. For example, I want to do the networking construction. Okay. And profile should be in English, and the title should be the manager. Then click. LinkedIn will tell me that there are 15,000 project managers in Ontario in construction industry. And how I can use the list, I look at everybody's name and I see the credential after the name. So I write down PNG, PMP, GSC, and I go down, PNG, I write it down, PMP, PNG, PNG, MNG. So I will write down these certificates and credentials or licenses that these people have. and CET, for example, going down CEM. So what it tells me that the majority of the project manager in construction industry in Ontario, they have either PEng or PMP. So if I want to network with these people, I should find out which organization or governing body will provide the PMP or PEng certificate. At this moment, we know that PEng comes from the PEO and PMP comes from the PMI. So if I become a member of PMI, and if there is a meeting, like a monthly meeting, if I register for that meeting and show up, everybody that I see would be a project manager, and a portion of those people will be the project manager in construction industry. So this is the way that we can find out the organizations or associations or chapters or groups of professionals which we can network internally with them and find our way to their company to be hired by that company. So, which if I open them in internet browser, you see that's a list of industry trade groups in the United States. A lot of these groups in the United States, they have branches and chapters and sections in Canada. So depend on one sector or which sector you are active. You can, for example, if you're in the food industry, you go to the food section, and by looking at all these associations or chapters or societies and so on and so forth, or institute, you see if they have any existence or presence in Canada, in the city, Toronto, Vancouver, Montreal, wherever that you are, then you see, if you can join them. The same list is available for Canada. So again, you can find the Canadian part or Canadian association or chapter or institute or society, and then communicate with them. So what we should do with these guys, when we got our list, PMI, PMO, STLE, CMVA, VI, depends on the things that we do, then I want you to write them an email and ask them these questions. So when you start the email, you write down to whom it may concern, or dear sir or madam, as a chemical engineer or as an accountant or as a lab technician, I was going through your website. It very interests me. So I would like you to answer these questions if it is possible. Number one, do you have individual membership or not? The reason that we ask is some of these, or not a lot, but some of these associations, they have company membership. So I, as an individual, cannot join that association. A company can join. So the first question would be, do you have individual membership or not? What is the cost of membership per year? Is it $150? Is $300? Is US dollar, Canadian dollar? So find out what's the cost of membership. And do you have any monthly meeting in my town? If you live in Calgary, you want to know if there is a monthly meeting or not. And if there is, how much is the attendance fee? Because sometimes they charge $10 for coffee and cookies. Sometimes they charge you $60 for a 4-course or 5-course full dinner with wine or alcohol. So find out how much cost you're talking about. And the last question is a very important one. Can I join the local board as a volunteer? Because these societies, associations, chapters, whatever that they are, to manage their activities in Toronto or Montreal or Vancouver, they have a local board. They have a group of 5 or 10 people that locally organizes the activity in that city or that province. So ask them, can I join the local board as a volunteer or not? So When you send this email to 5 or 6 or sometimes 10 different organizations and associations and chapters and all these things, some of them will respond. Some of them would say, go to our website and read about it. Some of them will simply answer these questions. So what we are going to do, I want you to manage to attend 6 of these monthly meetings minimum. So do the calculation. How much you pay per year, how much you pay per visit, and what's the total cost of 1-year membership plus 6 meeting attendance. These days, because a lot of these meetings are online, you don't pay for that because there is no cost associated with that. But in the old days, hopefully one day we come back to the old days and we can meet people face to face. But in the old days, as I said, they would charge between $10 to $60 or $70, right? And that's an investment that you do on yourself. And if it is online meeting, attend the meeting, write down the name of people, try to ask questions related to the talk or comment on the questions related to the question. After the meeting, try to find 3 or 4 people based on their names on LinkedIn, send them the text. I think I met you today at such and such online seminar or on that such and such webinar. That was a very interesting topic. I like the question that you asked. I want to share with you my ideas on this and this, and then try to make the connection, okay? If it is a face-to-face meeting, what you can do, you can make like a business cards for yourself. And with that business card, one side you put a little bit information about your education, work background, like elevator talk information. On the back side, you put your contact information. When you receive a business card, you pass the business card. Do not spend all of your time with one person. Every 6 to 7 minutes, change that person to a different person, find excuse to move away. When you are talking to people, do not talk about, and I repeat, do not talk about politics, do not talk about religion, do not talk about history, do not talk about work, but talk about 10 hobbies that I told you to write down with a short story and memorize. Where do you want to go for vacation? What kind of books do you like? What kind of movies do you like? What instrumental music instrument do you play? And these kind of things. And then when you finish with the first person, find the excuse to move to the second person and third person and so on and so forth. And then you continue till the dinner starts. When dinner starts, go and sit at the table with the least number of people that you know and already talked. So do not let yourself to fall into the comfort zone and you know, just stay with one person and spend all of your time on one person. So then the dinner will be served, and after dinner there will be a technical talk, and after technical talk everybody goes home. So have your resume available in a very nice neat folder instead of just rolling it in your hand, and you know, be outgoing, outreach to people, be friendly, be polite, not aggressive. Don't ask for the job. If somebody asks you, what are you doing as work, you always say, I'm between jobs, which means I don't have job. But don't tell them that you do not have any jobs. Tell them that you are between jobs, from job number 1 to the job number 2. So that would cover the majority of the items for the networking. Then the next item is working with recruiters. For working with recruiters, we will target to call them and communicate with them on Mondays and Fridays. If you remember, we had prepared this table for us. So on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, we do the cold call. And for Monday and Fridays, we will talk with the recruiters. So how we are going to do that? I recommend that you get the right recruiter which is related to your field. When you go to the Google and try to Google recruiters in your area and so on and so forth, Google will introduce to you recruiters which pay more money for the advertisement. Doesn't mean that those recruiters are in your field. What I mean when I say your field, everybody wants to work in a segment or a sector of the industry. Like somebody wants to work in the food industry. Somebody wants to work in an aerospace industry. Somebody wants to work at mining industry. So how do you find the right recruiters which is specialized in the field that you want to work in? There is a book in Canada that they call it the Director of Canadian Recruiters. This book is updated every 2 years. As you see, the sample that I have here is from 2008. It's about 13, 14 years ago. But if you are in Toronto area, these two libraries, Agni Court branch and Albion branch, both of them have the updated book from 2020, I believe. You can communicate with them, call them with these two phone numbers. And if you can go there inside the library, go there and look at this book. The reason is if you want to take the book out, they will remove the CD. And the importance of the book is that it has a compact disc inside, the CD inside with all this information. So I show you how it looks like. This is the sample of 2008 book. As you see, it's about 600 pages or more. About 3,000 companies are listed here. Since 2008, a lot of them have been dissolved or out of the business. And on the other side, a lot of has been added to this. So the way that it works, for example, if I want to work in a food industry, I can just put food here. And it just takes me to the keywords of the food, because every single recruiters, you see the name of the recruiter, the person in charge, the address, phone number, email, and then website, and also a brief short description about what this company is specialized on. So Vanguard and Associates in Toronto downtown, they are specialized in food and food-related manufacturing hiring. So if you are working in food industry, if you want to get a job in food industry, working with Vanguard and Associates make it much more easier for you to communicate with the food industry instead of working with a regular general recruiter in the market, which pays more money to the Google for the advertisement. So this way, you save your time and energy and get to the point much more faster, okay? So to make it easier, what I do, I come and consider Monday for recruiters, and so that's the way that it will be. So this is the way that I start filling up my my calendar for the week. And then, for example, from 1 o'clock, I put mirror practice. And just do it every day. Let's put it this way. So little by little, I start building up my, my table. Okay, so we talk about the book, The Director of Canadian Recruiters. We talk about 2 updated versions, and we talk about how you can use it If you take the book out, they will remove the CD. So you can't work on it when you are home. Take your laptop with yourself and get the file, and then you can work it offline from home. Okay, so that would be recruiters. Then let's go to the mission statement and values. Every company that you want to work with, they have a mission statement. Mission statement technically is a statement that says in 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, what direction and goals that company has. Normally, CEO or president of the company make those comments. For example, CEO or president of Toyota says that by 2030, I want to be zero incident company. It means there would be no loss of working hours based on the injuries or accidents in production or inside the office. Or such and such company says, I want to be carbon zero footprint. So it means that my action will not add any carbon monoxide or dioxide to the atmosphere. And they have a lot of plans to achieve those goals. But before we go for the interview or make a serious communication with a company, that's really important to read and understand the mission statement. The other part is the values of a company. Every company use some keywords to define itself and introduce itself to the public. They call it value. It could be environments, safety, sustainability, teamwork, technology, respect, people, a lot of these words, okay? Read them, understand them, because in interview day, it may pops up in the questions with a specific questions that we are going to touch on them, and you have to use the information on mission statement and values to address and answer those questions. Okay, interview day is the most important day of your day life or your work, because either you don't have a job and you want a job, or you have a job and you want a better job. So that's very important. Make sure that you work on your body language through the Linda or LinkedIn Learning or YouTube. A smile and eye contact are the basic body language that a lot of us forget to do. So practice on the smile and eye contact, especially when you are doing mirror practicing. Look at your eyes and smile to yourself and make it a habit. Talk about your values as much as you can in every single possibility that you have. And then every time that you talk about an example, go through the STAR: situation, task, action, result, which means at the beginning, explain what was the problem, what was the issue, what was the situation, then task or tasks that you had in front of you to do or select from, and the action that you took based on your evaluation, and then the results that you delivered. So always, always, always present examples based on the STAR method. The other item that you can do that helps is there is a website named My Interview Simulator, and if we open it, you can practice your interview skills here. There are a lot of questions and categories and simulators here. So enter and then do a lot of practices before the interview day comes up. Okay,